Sports Show with Bobby Chaffee.
We do have this nice little format that we try to follow every week. We don't usually follow it.
And Rodney Rodriguez.
Entertain me. Tell me something. I need to know something other than what I'm seeing.
Y'all ready? All right, here we go. Here's Bobby and Rodney.
When they wave the green flag, you take off. Black flag means get the hell off the track.
Get the hell off the track on the black flag.
That's it. You understand me?
Tell me about the checker flag.
I wouldn't worry about that checkered flag if I was you, boy.
I have still had folks that ask where that came from. And that is actually, that's from Grease Lightning. That's Richard Pryor asking those questions, everybody. Richard Pryor in a car racing movie. If you don't know the story, that is Grease Lightning. The story, the movie version of Wendell Scott is what that's all about. Welcome to Hashtag Real Race Talk. It is the Revved Up Sports Show. Rodney Rodriguez still flying solo here once again on your Monday as we get off and going. I hope everybody's having a great day. And I got to tell you, this is a great program that I have set for you this afternoon, this evening, whatever the hell it's called. Don't watch a home run derby. You can watch that later, or if you got to watch that. Don't watch soccer or whatever the hell else is on. It's time for Hashtag Real Race Talk. My man, Bruce Wright, already checking in. And I've got to give just lots of love to Bruce Wright and Miss Ellie and to the showstopper Jake Wright. Those guys right there put me up in the palatial confines of the Bruce Wright motorhome. And I got to tell you, I love staying there. It was one of those situations where I knew it was going to be a late night. I had some hotel issues the last time in Mobile, so I thought, well, let me talk to Brother Bruce. And of course, he and Miss Ellie and Jake are like, man, got you set up. So great hospitality as well. And thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you to tears, man, for putting me up in the spot right there. Always a good time. Didn't get to watch movies. We didn't get to watch movies this time. It's Bruce Wright's fault that I have this sudden fascination with Julianne Hough. I had heard of her before, and for some reason, I just never, didn't dislike her. I mean, it was one of those things that she didn't tug at the heartstrings for me at all. And then we go to Snowball Derby, and we're watching Rock of Ages over and over and over. And now, anytime that a commercial comes on for Rooms to Go, I'm fixated on the TV. And that's courtesy of Bruce Wright. So thank you, Bruce. That's one of the many great things that Bruce has done for me. Great, good stuff. And timing was perfect. Let me tell you, Mobile friends, I'm sure a lot of you know, but so I don't think I've said this yet. 6:45 on the show, we're going to talk to Code Red. Cody Tidwell will join in. That's another one of the guys where we see a lot of folks jumping around to different classes. Cody Tidwell is still a modified guy, and I'm going to enjoy talking to him. We'll talk about his whole career, life. I mean, he's a lifer in the sport. I mean, he doesn't know anything different like so many of us. We'll talk to him, and then really looking forward at 7:15, I'm going to talk to John Chance from the Wheelman series. That's I don't know if you know about the Wheelman series. It's a Florida series, but they look very much like the Outlaws that we know and love and are loving more and more each and every time we get to see them race, especially with car counts like we had in Mobile. But we'll talk about that, and the more that I've learned about the Wheelman series, it's no wonder that it does well. But we'll talk to him at 7:15. But a great program. So I do want to what I was talking about Mobile. I'm sure folks that were there know it. Get the hell out of there when it was done, because man, we got a torrential downpour. We had lightning. It was quite the weather event. I mean, you would think. I thought, because I had to get up and catch a red eye back to Texas. I got up that morning and I looked outside and I thought, man, it's got to be cold outside, because it just looked cold. It looked cold. Bruce, hope y'all got out well. The gate was locked. Hope y'all were able to get out well. If you went out the second way, if you went out the other way, somebody knocked the barricade down. This guy right here. But anyway, man, that weather came, and it was it was looking rough, and we got the hellacious storm. So again, just where Mobile has been the total opposite of Houston. Houston can't buy a break with weather when it comes to forecasts. And again, Gina explained why that was the case last week. Mobile has been the total opposite, where Mobile has gotten you talk about rolling 7-11, Mobile's rolling 7-11 when it comes to the weather, because it worked out. It worked out really well there with the timing of all of that, because we did have a shitstorm that came after that. The races were done, so thank goodness for all of that. But do want to give you guys an update, and I saw that Max Calles had posted on Facebook an update of how, his situation there. Obviously, for those of you that do not know, Max Calles was involved right there running in the top 3 once again, as he had the great run at Pensacola in that 112 car. He had what has happened to all of us, or to many of us, but what happened to him fortunately doesn't happen to many of us, where something broke in the rear end. He had a drive shaft come through the cockpit of the race car, and unfortunately, obviously in that modified, that's a lot narrower race car than what you're going to see with some of the stockers. It came up and it got him right on the elbow, and I reached out to Max immediately yesterday, and he replied to me, and I saw a picture. I know that he's posted there kind of the updates with everything that's going on with him. He's going to be on the shelf for a little bit, and we'll all be praying. Please take some time there and have some good thoughts for Max, because he's a good dude. He's going to be on the shelf for a little bit, because that elbow there took a hell of a shot. And he actually sent me a picture of it without the bandages that we saw on Facebook, and it is brutal. It is brutal, and it's going to be a long road there of recovery for that great young dude right there from Max Calles. Just a great wheel man. I mean, we've talked to him on the show here before, and he does a lot of good things for racing, and he's a guy that will drive the hell out of anything. So let's be thinking about Max, because he's going to be going through quite the. I can only imagine that the recovery, the rehab part there is going to be a lot for Max. So best wishes there, amigo. Ojalá que todo va a estar bien. Hopefully real soon for Max. And we got to, I tell you, I am so impressed. One of the things coming out of Mobile for me is just Memphis Villarreal, or Memphis Villarreal, how y'all should say it. This dude here, so he took 3 of the 4 of the summer series at Mobile in the modified, and it's documented. I beat the story into the ground about the challenges that this team faces when they get out there against some of these horsepower guys. And these guys, I mean, obviously the car's really, really fast, but just when we talk about Wheelman series, talk about a Wheelman. What we're watching Memphis do. I talked to him after the race. Of course, the leaders got tied up there a little bit, as you had Papini there and Green that were having a really good race right there, and that contact happens. And one of those situations, I know folks see it different ways. I saw it, whatever way I saw it. And, it's a racing deal. It sucks for both of them. But again, just Villarreal just sitting there, and Memphis was telling me, the car was off. I lucked out into this. If you go back and watch that, Memphis was stalking those 2 guys once again. He was well on his way again. We were going to have a really good 3 to 4 car race right there for those modifieds. It doesn't matter. I mean, the bottom line is this kid just won 3 of 4 races at Mobile as that car count continued to increase. And he took home a $500 bonus from Top Spot Internet Marketing out of Houston. And that's great for them. I mean, because that's you want to talk about a short tow, not that Houston to Mobile is a short tow regardless, and Lord knows it's not the easiest. And thank you for all of you Texas guys that have been doing this, because it ain't no smooth trip. I mean, going through Louisiana and getting there into the Gulfport area of Mississippi, it's I'm hearing horror stories about how the travel is, and to make that tow and to continue to do it. That's, I mean, applaud you guys, man. Thank you so much for doing that. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of folks giving me shit about flying. That ain't been much easier. I mean, it's just once I get on the plane, getting there, yeah, it's great, but it's torturous to get there. But the Villarreals, man, they are going from Corpus. They're from Corpus. But you want to talk about really stamping a name there and really putting themselves on a pedestal as guys that it's going to be really hard to beat, and just for a great family that have come out and really made themselves a name here. I mean, we're all familiar with that name right now, but folks are seeing what the Villarreals are doing there in Memphis, just really stamping that name, and just obviously talking about what he was doing with the factory stocks. I mean, how impressive is that? I mean, and congratulations there. 3 out of 4. That's really, really impressive. And I'm sure most of you caught the news as well that there's going to be 2 additional races from the Gulf Coast Racing Series at Mobile. Don't have the dates yet. Don't have the classes. Don't have any of that. But it will be determined here very, very quick. Gulf Coast Racing Series, that's where you're going to find all of that news. We have to Texas dirt track. Houston as well, and the pavement side. But man, it's killing me for Texas racetracks. I mean, this weather has been. I'll tell you, and I hate to say it, but looking at some of the forecasts that are coming up, this forecast has just been torrential to where it looks like we're having a good day. It looks like we're going to have a good day. And then we get a downpour at whatever time it's going to be, and it's just killing these racetracks. I mean, with the rainouts that we've watched, I know that 105 and Kennedale and Devil's Bowl were able to get races in among others this weekend, but it's just so odd to me to see what's happening with weather. You guys know that I have you can call it whatever you want to call it. I know a lot of folks call it the weather bong that I use to kind of keep track of forecasts and everything. But it's been so tough to see. It's very weird to me that tracks up in the DFW area are not having the weather issues, and the tracks further down south, South Texas, I was gut punched for them trying to get a race date in, and hell, you have torrential stuff that's coming in. But it's very odd that we're having the problem here. DFW, they're getting their stuff in, which great for them. But man, my heart sinks for all of these tracks here in our region. And hopefully, I know Cotton Bowl, among others, are rescheduling races. Waco's trying to get races in this week that are on schedule, but hopefully all that pans out. But we'll get to that a little bit later in the program. We're going to the hotline, talking about dirt track racing and talking about guys that are finding places to race. This dude went and found him a track to race, and thanks to Joe Spillman, because I thank Joe so many times for helping me learn dirt track racing better as I've gotten into the dirt track racing announcing stuff. But this is one of the first nicknames there where Joe's throwing nicknames out and I'm picking them up, talking like I know what the hell I'm talking about. Going to the hotline, Code Red, Cody Tidwell. Cody, how we doing, man?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm doing well. Thank you for taking the time jumping in. Talk about your weekend. You did find a place to race. Give us a rundown how it all went for you.
Went to Kennedale. I like that track. Usually there's pretty good cars there, and like it's been this year, there was a low car count, but pretty decent drivers there. Got lucky in the heat, got behind John White, finished second, qualified, started sixth in the feature. Kind of did the same thing, rode around the middle of the track where nobody was, got second, and then had Justin Perkle show us all up on the high side. And, on a late race restart, I got around John on the high side, and then I just kind of rode because it was treacherous.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to damage the car.
Yeah.
But Justin Perkle put on a good show, and John White and I had a good battle. So it was a good weekend.
Yeah. That's a couple of really damn good ones right there to be chasing, no doubt about that. So break it all down for us. You've been at this for quite a while, and like so many of us, like I was saying, the fruit doesn't fall too far from the vine. We're born into this, and we just keep doing it. Talk us through your whole career.
So I've been racing on and off for the past 10 years. My dad has raced, crewed, whatever he can since he was 18, and we all started at Texas Thunder. That's actually where I cut my teeth in a mod. Grew up in the back of a pickup with Big Mike, Bobby Sleva, the Hendersons, the whole group.
Mm-hmm.
And, just kind of took off from there. And wasn't very good when I started. Wasn't sure I was going to continue to race, but luckily my dad is a really great teacher and a hell of a setup guy.
Mm-hmm.
and got me going in the right direction the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So,
no doubt. And isn't that, I mean, I know because for myself, I mean, my dad and I mean, that's what we always did. We went to the races and then we raced and whatever. Isn't that what's so cool about this is, I mean, it's family, it's moms, dads, sons, whatever. It's what you do, and it's just so hard to get away from.
Absolutely. My dad and I are super close because of the racing, and, we spend 3-4 nights a week together, and then all Saturdays, and we're spending Sundays talking about what we're going to do next week or watching the weather here lately.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out what we're going to do. But yeah, absolutely. It's a big family atmosphere, and I recently got engaged, and my fiance loves it. We've got our core group of friends with McSpadden and O'Brien and, all those guys, the Florios and the Tyndalls, and just it's a big giant family down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Already getting questions on the Facebook feed, Cody. Jimmy Tidwell asks, ask him about hot lapping with Jason Henderson as 15-year-olds. I went out as a 13, 14-year-old. My dad sent me to hot lap his race car at San Antonio Speedway. So it sounds like you had a similar situation there.
So Jake Henderson and myself, we weren't allowed to race until we had car control, because our dads weren't just going to throw us out there with PJ and Keith White because they knew we'd be in the way and we were too competitive with one another. Well, in hot laps, I actually destroyed half of Jake's car and an entire front end on mine because that's how competitive we were. I did not want him to beat me in hot laps where it didn't even matter. So this is before I even had an IMCA license. They just cut us loose out there and we were having a good time, and I had a run on him and stuffed it in him going into 3. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was a long ride home after that.
Yeah. Imagine. Holy shit. That is hilarious, man. Oh, God. I love that, man. What a great story. That's going to make our sound clips on that one. You mentioned Texas Thunder, Stars and Stripes. I mean, when I went way back, way years ago, Stars and Stripes, talk about that place. I mean, people talk about lost speedways and so forth and so on. I think people just don't realize how special that place was to so many of us.
Man, when you think about it, you had national champions coming out of there. Keith White, PJ, Kenny Stone, Pat McGuire. I mean, just big names, big Texas names that could go anywhere and win in the state. And growing up as a kid, we'd watch that, and, that's what you'd aspire to be. I remember watching Keith just put it on him, or him and PJ in their battles, and it was just a great place to be, because that's where other than Waco, that's where the cream of the crop was running, in my opinion. That's where they put it down. It was a tiny bull ring, quarter-mile track, 3 lanes wide, and then you put up or shut up when you showed up.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. And let me ask you about Waco as well. Talk about that place. I mean, I've gotten to go this year, and I mean, that place is unbelievable. I mean, just the history there. I mean, the fans are rabid fans. I mean, they are so loyal. It's like 4th, 5th generation people that are there. I mean, talk about Heart of Texas. That is like a destination racetrack in this country.
Absolutely. If you've never been there on a Friday night or a big show, it's a completely different atmosphere. To this day, I'll still get butterflies sitting in the lineup chute just because, the quality of drivers there, and it means a lot. I mean, if you can run up front there, you can pretty much go anywhere and be decent or get recognized, or,
sure.
It's up there in the toughest tracks to get a hold of. But just the drivers, I mean, Kevin Green, Tomlinson, just all them guys, they get it, they throw it down. When you show up there on a Friday night, you better be ready to roll, because they are.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell people, I'm like, if the track has a Hall of Fame, it's got to be pretty badass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen many good races there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. So let's talk about this year. I mean, break it down for me. Your thoughts on your performance. I mean, it's a joy to watch you, man. You guys, when you hang those cars over, I'll ask you about the modifieds themselves here in just a minute. But break down the season for me. Your thoughts on it to this point, other than the damn weather here is horrible.
Yeah. It's been pretty productive. We were running really good and consistent until the mod tour had a pretty good wreck, and I had to sit out a little while waiting on parts. Just got that all back, and now we're kind of just straightening the car back out, getting it to where it was. And unfortunately, when you miss 2-3 weeks, you lose that speed because they're all figuring out little tweaks to do here and there, and then I got to come back in and start reeling them back in, which is good thing I've got Dad, because it makes it a lot easier with two of us.
Yeah.
So far it's been pretty decent, other than the parts bill.
Yeah. There's always that.
I mean, the rain's been a blessing, kind of, because it's given me an opportunity to not lose so much time, because everybody else having to sit out too.
Yeah.
Except for the North Texas guys. I can't figure that out. Usually they're the ones getting rained out. Now it's us.
Dude, I was just talking about that. Isn't that so weird? I mean, it's like they are the ones where the weather is horrible, and I don't know what the hell's going on, because now it's down here. I mean, that makes no sense to me. I guess with the day and age that we're living in, I guess it's normal, I guess, now.
Yeah, it seems like that this year. I think I've raced more at Kennydale and up that in southern Oklahoma than I have at Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so. So, modifieds. I mean, to me, when you guys come out and you guys start racing, I mean, sport mods are great. I mean, I love the stock cars. I mean, all of that. But, man, you guys are the ones... I mean, I remember being a pavement guy most of my life. We'd go to the McAllen Nationals, my dad and I, and we would watch all of that. Talk about the modifieds. It looks like everything's coming back around. I mean, I know that for a while there, car counts were dropping, but Marianne seems to get a good count of modifieds, and Waco does a good job of getting a car count of modifieds. What's bringing it back to what it should be? Because it's a premier class, in my opinion. I hope nobody's pissed off when I say that.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to agree with you, but that's because when I grew, up through racing,
Yep.
you had street stocks, you had your stock cars, and then you had modifieds. Those were your main three classes. You had your wing cars every now and then, but that was it. So when the sport mod came out, the mod count dropped drastically because everybody thought they were going to be, less expensive and all this. But when you really break it down, I mean, from a stock car to a modified, you're pretty close in money. So it's really just what you pick and choose to race there. But I think some of the sport mod guys are getting tired of, racing what they're racing, and they want to come up and, like you said, everybody says it's the premier class, and that's what they want to get in, and that's what they want to be recognized as. And I mean, Trevor Egbert got back in a mod this year, and within 3 races was setting the world on fire. So, which was no surprise. I think people are coming in and out of it again, and we've got a whole new crop of people I've never met and raced with, and so it's good to see the car count's coming back up. I'd like to see B mains every night again. That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I think we'll slowly and surely get there.
Yeah, I think so too. How hard are those cars to drive? I mean, because when I see you guys get out there, but of course, I mean, your cars pivot better. I mean, it looks difficult, but at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, well, I mean, the bottom line is, pardon my French, you have to have big balls, because you guys just roll these things in, you lay them over, and you just stand on the gas. I mean, take me through a lap of driving one of these fire-breathing modifieds.
Well, in the heavy, it's pretty much just mat it, rotate it, and stick it right back in there. You got to, whatever you can get at, especially with the crate, you got to be freed and rotating. When it slicks off, we're kind of cheating, because the harder you drive them, the better they drive.
Right.
So it looks like that, like stock car drivers, I got a lot of respect for them, because I've driven a few and I suck in them, and I probably will never race one. They're heavy. They don't maneuver very well, and you got to have a lot of momentum behind it. And I, for whatever reason, can't figure that out.
Yeah.
But the mod, it's all about just keeping yourself out of trouble. Free lane of traffic. Make sure you don't get up in the crumbles, and don't let the car get out from underneath you. And as long as you're pointed, that crate will take you wherever you want to go.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, I would think so. I mean, because a stock car, I mean, that big old heavy bulky thing. I mean, you're trying to do something with a car that it's not intended to do. Where with the modified, obviously the weight difference, but I mean, you've got that in there. This car is built to do what you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a big difference, and I got a lot of respect for the stock car drivers because I don't know how they do it. I have no idea.
Absolutely. Have to ask you, Cody. So, I mean, factory stock, obviously. I mean, it's the rage. I mean, I would love to have an iStock. I grew up driving street stock pavement cars. To me, an iStock is what I would want to race if I were able to race on dirt. But man, these factory stocks are blowing up. We're seeing guys that are selling modifieds to run those and get to go run all over the place and, big money shows and all of that. Your thoughts on that? Because in my humble opinion, hell, for the money that I'm going to spend on one of those, I would just as soon race with you guys.
Well, it's a catch-22 there. I mean, if you have it in your program to be able to travel Louisiana, Mississippi, all the places they're putting them big money shows on up north, Arklatex, and you can do that, I don't understand why you wouldn't be in a factory stock, because 2 or 3 times a month you can be racing for $5 to $10 grand to win. I mean, look at Justin Whitehead. He goes out and stomps them 90% of the time, and he still drives a mod. So I don't dislike them. I wish there was less classes, though, so that we could have more cars per class. So if they wanted to do away with sport mods and just keep factory stocks, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I can tell you one thing. I mean, the downfall of pavement racing in Texas was exactly that. Too many classes, just too much.
Yeah.
Is that something that needs to be reevaluated, in your opinion? Needs to be reevaluated, and let's trim the fat here a little bit and get this thing back in order before we run into like what the pavement people are dealing with.
Absolutely. I think that's what killed the mod count, was the sport mod. And the iStock count's probably going to go down because of factory stocks if people can't afford to race both classes. And every 5-6 years it seems to happen. Something pops up and everybody gets on board with it, and then that struggles. And yeah, absolutely, trim the fat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it. I really think that's what needs to happen. So, back to the modified. So your thoughts moving forward, the rest of the year. What do you have planned? I mean, the nice thing is, you're one of those guys where you do travel, and it's fine if some guys don't. I mean, you have your track, but I think you guys are very much of the opinion. It sounds like I just want to race. I'll go to North Texas.
Oh, yeah.
What all's planned for you guys?
I take it week by week. Right now with the weather, we're just gonna play it by ear. If I know Cotton Bowl Summer Series is fixing to start up, and I'm interested in that. And then I might race at Waco a few more times this year. I'll probably be there for their big shows at the end of the year, and then just whatever else I can hit in between there. I'm getting married in December, and I want to have a bachelor party and go racing. So we're trying to decide between Boone or something like that. Take off for a week and go have fun with the guys. But I pretty much take it week by week. I don't really have a schedule. We kind of get up Wednesday, and Dad and I will start talking about where we want to go, and that's how we decide.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I got to tell you, to speak to that, I think it's so important talking about the bachelor party and all that. And message me if you have extra room. I'll go. But
all right.
How important is it, to have that support there? Obviously, you've got, you mentioned your dad, but to have your spouse's support. Because like for me, my wife doesn't give a rat's ass about racing. But going off to announce at all these places, and even when I was still actively racing, at the end with the dwarf cars, had her blessing. Whatever, do what you need to do, spend the money that you need to spend within reason. Isn't that important? You got to have that extra element right there of the support of the significant other.
Absolutely. My mom was kind of like, sounds like your wife with my dad growing up. She would go, but it wasn't really her thing. And then once I got old enough, she was like, yeah, I'm just going to stay home, read my book. But no, Shannon loves to go with us. She gets upset when she can't go. And, you know, sometimes she's the one pushing us because we're like, oh, it looks like rain. And she's like, get in the truck, we're going. I'm like, all right, I guess we're going. We're going to drive 2 hours. Hopefully it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
But
well,
now it's super. She gives me time off in the middle of the week to go do what I need to do, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think she checked in on the Facebook feed and said that I couldn't tell you how many times I've heard I'm going wherever they are racing. So I think that maybe you've kind of set the kind of the benchmark there of what's going to happen.
She knows we don't have a schedule. She gets upset because she's an egg. And she'll get up on Saturday mornings and have to go get a lamb. We're like, oh, yeah, we're going to southern Oklahoma, so be back by 2. And then she rush around. But she's a trooper. She gets her pillow and her blanket. She does just fine.
Yeah, that's very important. Very important. So your thoughts, the future of the modifieds, and I'll cut you loose, man. Thanks so much for jumping on, and I appreciate it. And this has been a lot of fun. Your thoughts, the future of the modifieds. We're seeing it come back around. Do you think we get back to in Texas? I would love to have, because it does seem where we get to the end of the year shows and it's more of a factory stock sport mod thing. Do you think that maybe in the next couple of years we get back to where we have something like the Miller Modified Nationals at McAllen? Do you think that's possible, or do you think that we're just going to be in a mode where we hope for really, really good counts on regular shows for those, you know, the big mods?
And that's so hard to say because now we have the late model series up in Dallas, and a lot of the guys around. Leonard's running that. Dean Abbey, who used to be in a mod, runs in that. Chris Bragg runs in that. I mean, we're losing guys to that. And then the stock car deal is really taken off. There's quite a few mod guys in stock cars this year. It's hard to say. I mean, I would really hope so, because, you know, I remember 10 years ago at Waco, it took 3 days to run the Fall Classic because there'd be that many mods and stocks and stock cars there. I hope so. I really do, but it's too early to tell right now. I mean, the car count has been up this year, but I don't know if that's just because everybody's had a chance with the rain and we've missed some holidays. And because normally this is about the time of the year when car counts start dropping because of the heat. Nobody wants to work on their car. Yeah. Nobody wants to race on dry slick tracks. You know. Yeah. So I hope so.
Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I thought of something else. So where are those modifieds better? Is it dry slick? I mean, I hear you drive it like asphalt. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I do know that's a fact, because I drove in my dwarf car. I was on a dry slick track and I drove it like asphalt, which what I'm used to, and I was really good. And I've driven on a heavy track and I sucked. I mean, is there a preference for you? Two questions. Preference for you, you know, the type of track, and which one of these do you like the best? I mean, is it the bull rings, or is it that big old massive ass monster over in Page?
So as far as track condition goes, I'm not a complainer. So either way, I'm good. As long as we're there to race, as long as the track stays open, I don't care if it's you know, hammer down or smooth and.
Yep.
And I prefer a smaller, tighter track, like the Kennedales and the Wacos, just because the adrenaline gets up there. You know, Cotton Bowl, if there's enough of us there, it's a good time, but usually it's a 2 or 3 car breakaway, and then we're all having to chase each other, and I don't really enjoy that because I get a little frustrated if I'm the third guy in line and I can't catch the guy in front of me.
Yeah.
But the small, tight tracks, there's always a lot of action. I don't mind fixing sheet metal at the end of the week, so that ain't no big deal to me. But my driving style tends to suit Cotton Bowl a little better. You know, long straightaways, tight corners. You know, consistent braking, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when there's a cushion up there, I really enjoy it because you really get to let it hang out.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, any thoughts for you on getting a factory stock or any of that? Since we are seeing all of that, I mean, I see guys doing it. I mean, Raymond got an iStock. I mean, is Cody Tidwell going to do that, or are you tried and true with that badass modified?
I'm pretty tried and true. I'm geared up for that. That's what I want to run. If Big Mike ever wants to let me in his car every now and then, I'll probably play around in that.
Yep.
But no, I've got no interest in a factory stock at all. I stock if I have to.
Have to.
But no, I'm gonna stay with the mod.
Yeah.
It's just that's my wheelhouse, and then I just don't want to relearn a whole new car.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would think driving that. I don't think I'd want to drive anything else. But that's just me. But anyway, dude, thanks for the time. Great conversation, and so we're Cotton Bowl this weekend for you. Hopefully, if we don't,
that's my for fixing the washer and get her ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it, man. I actually won't be there, but I'll be there soon again. But man, love watching you out there, and I do love that at Cotton Bowl when you put that thing up on the top side. That's badass racing right there, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. We do it for the fans, right?
That's right. Yep. Y'all put on a hell of a show each and every time. I don't care if you have 20 cars or if you guys have 6. It's always a good race.
There we go.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all I like to hear.
That's right. Cody Tidwell, appreciate it, man. Be well, and I'll see you soon, brother.
Thank you, sir.
You got it. Take care. All right, there he is, Cody Tidwell. And I like that. I like that a lot because, like I said, I would love to drive a factory stock. I think that would be really amazing. I mean, for me. But I'm a guy that raced stock cars. That like I've talked about, street stock cars, whatever the case. Hold on a second here. I've got to. There we go. But I think that he wants to stay in that class. I really want to see just as an observer, because when it comes to dirt track and yes, thank you all for all the you guys. I got to tell you, it's funny to me that people actually pay attention to things that you see. Everybody's giving me hell because it's like Texas racing personality. I'm like, whatever. That's great. But, kind of one of those things. That's what they said on that program right there. But anyway, I think we may be having a sound thing here. Let me go back and take a look. Jump back in here. Hold on 1 second. If we are having a sound problem, I'm in the process of fixing it here. So give me 1 second. I got to check one thing right about here. Hold on. You may have a moment of silence. Still working. I'm still working on this right now, so just hang tight. Just hang tight. I'm seeing, I don't know what happened there. Hold on 1 second. Making one adjustment. Still rolling here, so here we go. I think we probably have this fixed right. There we go. So I think everything is about to be corrected, so you guys are going to have to tell me on the Facebook feed here because, I think we got it. Hold on a second. All right, I think we may have it. Hopefully everything has been fixed at this point. Hopefully, let's see if you can hear me.
trying to work to get that issue resolved right there on the Facebook side. Yeah, I don't know here.